Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our monthly Construction and Traffic Impacts webinar. I'm Wendy Thompson from the Streetcar team. Whether you live, work, or run a business along the corridor, this project impacts your daily life. We're committed to being good neighbors, minimizing disruptions, and keeping you informed so you can plan your day with zero surprises. Thank you for taking the time to join us. As many of you have probably noticed, our crews worked incredibly hard to hit some major milestones just before the College World Series. Our main goal there was to get a significant amount of work done, completed, so we could open roads up and ease congestion, keeping things moving smoothly through the tournament. Now that the series is wrapped up, we've caught our breath briefly and are going to ramp back up. Right after the holiday, we will be kicking off additional road closures along the corridor. Before we dive into all the details of all the upcoming work, please use our Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen at any time. Don't feel like you have to wait for the end. To help us navigate all of the construction, I'm joined by experts overseeing every angle of this project. We have Mike True, Omaha Public Works Department and the Streetcar Project Manager, Steve Rue, Omaha Public Works Department, Capital Construction and Street Maintenance Engineer, and Alyssa Smith, Omaha Public Works Department Media Relations Manager. Now I'd like to turn it over to Mike True.
Thanks, Wendy. So here's today's agenda. We'll go over some work zone safety, touch on the schedule, dive into the various construction packages, and then we'll finalize with communications and get into your questions. And as Wendy previously stated, if you have anything come up, feel free as we're just going along to type it into the chat box. Excellent. Quick reminder on work zones, don't go in them unless you're working in there yourself. Be patient, use the detours, go around. One of the big things that we have found is we are finding people do still follow the trucks into the work zones. Please be cognizant of if the vehicle in front of you is, dump truck or whatever, it may be heading into one of them. So don't just try to, as you weave around, we've got chevrons and whatnot to help you get through where you need to go. Just follow the path laid out for you. And as an additional reminder on that, we've also had some unwanted excitement along here. And the people on the left over here, there was an incident around 3810 Farnham, and they got curious and they're going over there. Well, they again entered a work zone. You don't know if there's additional dangers there, such as additional sloughing in this particular case. Just overall, what dangers are out there. We're dealing with everything from power to water to sewers, deep holes. Just stay out of the work zones. As curious as you might be, all you can do is just see from the sidelines. And our construction schedule, as Wendy said, we're going to be ramping up to kind of get a final push here and hopefully get as much of this utility work done and wrapped up before the end of the year as possible. We're hoping to pull that end date back in 2027 further to the left, but we're still wrapping up at Turner. That's moving along nicely on timeline. Vehicle maintenance facility is going well. The bridge, as you probably, or I believe as we said on the last one, was actually able to get its deck pour in before the College World Series and is ahead of schedule as well. And we'll soon be down to just the mainline construction. And with that, we'll kick it off to our streetcar projects. Over to Steve.
Thanks, Mike. So yeah, bridges, like Mike just talked about, these are cruising right along. We got the bridge deck poured before CWS. We're working through the heat. Really biggest things coming up on this project. Deck's already up. Looks like a bridge. We're working on finishing up the railing, finishing up the appurtenances on either side of the bridge. So you're going to kind of see that happening through the end of the month. You're going to see it really come together, the railing, the fencing, things like that. Major work that we do have coming up is the intersection of 29th on the west side of the bridge is going to go into a closure for a period of 9 weeks. And that is to finish the water main and sewer work that needs to happen through there. So in about the same amount of, in roughly the same timeline that we have remaining on the bridge, that intersection is going to be closed. That intersection has been heavily restricted for quite a while. So I don't know that is really a new impact but it will be fully closed for the next 9 weeks as we go through and finish just making all those connections for everything that we brought through the bridge, tying the system together and getting ready to open up traffic through here. That'll be great here in the next couple months. Moving on to the East Utilities package. This package, we're continuing to work to the west. I'm sure a lot of you that have been in this corridor now, right? You've seen our utility crews coming through, and now we're kind of the point, pretty much everything in that blue shaded area to the east. A lot of that's been turned over to Kiewit or is soon to be turned over to Kiewit. So we're seeing a lot of track construction happen over there. That's great. That's kind of a good indication that the utility work in those areas is done and that we're moving on. So right now, a lot of the heaviest work that's happening is kind of between 17th and 20th, but we're seeing work right now extend all the way out to the bridges out to the interstate. Kind of to reiterate some of the points Mike made at the beginning, I know coming down Harney right now, right, we have our electrical contractor, we got some sewer work in there, working all the way back to the east. There's some water main stuff in there, water main work occurring back there. I know we kind of have a very interesting slalom pattern. Please just be very attentive as we are moving through the work zones. I drive that way every day, trying to make sure traffic control is up and clear and make sure people know where they are and are not supposed to be. But please pay attention. Like Mike said, I've seen some people follow trucks into work zones. I know that can happen, but it is very dangerous. So just make sure you're paying attention. I've also seen a number of people driving the wrong way in the last couple of weeks. So we are doing our best to make sure signs are visible, that we're posting additional signage, but please just be very attentive while you're down there. We don't want anybody that's working on the projects to get injured, but we also don't want you or any pedestrians or anybody that's down in the corridor to get injured. So just be very attentive to the signs. We've tried putting up, you can see Hawkins kind of has like the white lining on some of their fences now. Obviously we can use that in some areas. We can't in others due to site restrictions, but we are kind of trying to help channelize traffic through the use of some of those things. But please be attentive as you're in this area as we continue to shift traffic. Again, to the east, as we get into main line, that traffic is not going to move left and right as much as we are, but just please be attentive. I've seen some dangerous situations in the last couple of weeks. Moving on to Turner. This package is going great. We're back up to the surface at what we were calling the Big Ugly, the very deep, large manhole that I think a couple months ago we said was like 3 giraffes deep or whatever. So at this point, what we're going to see here, they're going to finish up the little bit of water main and sewer work that's along here. You're going to start seeing a lot of paving coming through here in the next couple of months. Between now and October, a lot of that paving is going to get put back. You're going to see them start restoring the sections of trail that are out. You're going to see some grass, some temporary grass and or mulch, depending on where it's at, come in. Some of that paving, some of the grass work that will be temporary. So if you live there and you're used to seeing grass or used to seeing something specific in an area, it may not get reestablished exactly like that, as main line is going to come right back in behind us, right? So we're trying to be financially conscious in how we restore this. But really, as this project goes along, we have some water main and sewer work to finish up, but we are kind of pushing into that phase where you're just going to see a lot of paving starting to happen in these areas as we put everything back and get ready to kind of close this project up and work towards substantial completion, which we expect late this fall. And with that, I will hand it back over to Mike to talk about mainline.
Thank you, Steve. I get my camera to come back on. There we go. Thanks again, Steve. So main areas we're working at out west in the orange. We've got the east loop in the purple. We will be doing some additional work here along 10th Street. You'll be seeing before the end of the year that bridge get milled and overlaid and rails laid across there. And then we're also clearly into the green and red zones, and we'll be focusing the rest of this year on the west end, trying to make sure Capitol's closed up, and also getting along Harney pretty heavily, as that's where we intend to create a kind of a test zone so we'll be ready for cars to start arriving next year. Starting out west, Farnham is westbound only. Most of the alignment, other than the section from 8th to 10th, it's going to be westbound only. You can also see the parking garages are highlighted where you can come in. 33rd is open, and I believe Farnham Court is also opening today, very soon. And the parking garages out here are the first 2 hours are free. The farthest one on the left side of the screen out at 40th and Harney, I do not believe that that one has that same one. Each one of these blue walking person with a white background is where we have put in pedestrian bridges to facilitate access across. So if you park in the north garage on 33rd, you can still get to the ones on the south, and so on and so forth. All right, so we're in, we're going to call it phase 5 here, from a little bit past Turner Boulevard going up the hill. They've actually been paving and encapsulating around the track. They still have the sections around the track. They pour the actual track slab and then the approach slab between the existing pavement and the track slab is the next parts they're going through. We're going to probably see that 7-1 area. We're going to still say August, but we're starting to look at that being opening up here in the next month or two, which is getting exciting. The next phase out there, they're doing reinforcement. They have done a lot of the paving out here from 34th to 37th. They still have a few sticks at the far west end just laying there, but they've gotten the base course in. They've gotten a lot of the comms and power duct bank work in, and this is going to be a few months behind the other before this one opens up, but they're proceeding along pretty well. And then the next one, this is where we're out here doing utility and base course work. And this is still the only spots that we still have open grade. And this will be the last to get any rail pulled in there. East end of the project, Capitol Loop. We still have Douglas Street as two-way for a westbound exit, and you can take a right out onto 10th Street. 8th Street is still closed from Douglas to Farnham. You can come down Farnham, as I previously mentioned, pretty much everywhere else. Farnham's westbound. This is the one little section where it's east. You can come in, get to that parking garage, and then you will have to exit out onto Harney to get back out onto 10th, or if you go through the ConAgra campus or however you exit through there. Again, the 2 public parking garages are shown here, along with pedestrian access that we've got going along. The 2 red dots at the top are showing the next phase. Yep, that's where we've got, we're calling it Zone 3-2. They're working around that curve now as they've come off of Capitol. You can turn in off of Capitol now, get into, let's say, Lullaby's, and then get in your car and pull back out. We are going to still recommend everyone, while we're down here in this Capitol Loop area with everything going on, if you're at the CHI for events, when you come out, particularly from Mecca Lot A, come out, and we're going to tell you Riverfront's probably going to be your better access drive, just given the timing of lights and how everything else is already going to be congested. Going out the long way probably is going to wind up being very similar. The area between 8th Street, Douglas to Farnham, and then along the north side of Farnham, as it says here, we're in track along the actual Farnham side, and then 8th Street's actually been paved, and we're going to continue to pave that back, meter it up, and we're looking forward to opening some crossings there in the near future. As previously mentioned, 10th Street, this is actually going to extend, from my understanding, all the way to wherever you see the existing rails at, and then it'll go all the way down to Harney, so we're going to get the full stretch in there, and this will include some work on the 10th Street Bridge that may have to include some intermittent closures at times for safety and of the overall work. That's still more than a month, 2 months out, but that work is going to be part of this, is upgrading some of that infrastructure on the bridge. So in the downtown area, 10th to 14th on Farnham, we are in the track phase. If you go out there, you can see it's pulled into place. It's going to get cast in. We're also working on the stop out near 14th as well, and that'll run through basically the rest of this year. And then this is also a little bit tight because they've got the rail laydown pile there on the south side of Farnham as well. And again, the red indicators show you where streets dead end. The one on 14th and Farnham going north, that's due to the tower that's going up there. And then we also have the pedestrian access. 10th to 13th on Harney, we've got, we're going through demolition. They left 11th and 12th open during the College World Series to help a little bit with traffic. Now we've gone through, we're demoing that out. and we're proceeding along there. They'll be through here at least Q1 of next year. We're going to be going past 14th along 18th. We've got a little bit of utility work to wrap up in this area. Once that utility work is wrapped, they will continue on down, and they'll be all the way from 10th to 18th. And pardon me, sorry about that. We'll also be working along 16th. I believe that'll be one of the upcoming slides, but there's a reason that there's a break there is that's going to be a point where we've got to do a power substation and upgrade work going up from basically across from the First National Tower down the street all the way to Harney, so you can have energy for both tracks. There is going to be some rolling closures. There is some permanent closures that are left up now out to 15th, but there'll be some rolling closures beyond that, especially after the holiday here. You're going to start seeing Kiewit's crews really get heavily out here and start doing the survey and pothole work that they're required to do all the way out to 18th along Harney. And yep, there it is, the 16th Street. It'll be a phase closure through early fall this year. We're going to start at the south end along Harney and work our way north. Streetcar maintenance facility. This project's going along great. It might even be a little bit ahead of schedule, but it's definitely at least on schedule. Right now, Kiewit is down in this area doing some of the, if you look on the right, you can see right where those vehicles are parked, there's a rock that's been laid in between the concrete slab. That has been left out, so Kiewit can actually come in, lay their track, lay the rail, and do what they need to. So Kiewit's in here getting the 3 bays prepped, a couple of the specialty items like the turntable, and then they'll actually be working their way out and doing the track yard and working back up to what they're working on at around that northeast corner where at 8th and Capitol, and then follow 8th Street down. So yeah, the vehicle maintenance facility is going along great. We've done one tour, and I believe there's an intent to kind of show this off probably early next year, what it'll look like when it's completed. Reminder to everyone, we have a construction dashboard, and you can go into the 6 main neighborhoods that we've identified. Gas work is thankfully all done and wrapped up. We're wrapping up most of our major utilities. We're hoping to have a lot of it done by the end of this year. It'll probably bleed into Q1 of next year. And then mainline has basically started just about everywhere. And you can sign up for this, and in the communications, they'll tell you some of the other ones, and keep up to date. And with that, I will talk about keeping up to date. We'll turn it over to Alyssa, and she can give you more.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. So we understand that this project is really big and there are a lot of things happening. So it's kind of hard to keep up sometimes with all of the things happening. So we have a few different opportunities for you to stay involved. One of the best ways is our webinar. We host it every first Wednesday of each month at noon. You can pre-register and at the time also submit questions if you would like answers from the Streetcar team. Our next one will be August 5th at noon. We also have a monthly board meeting that the public is welcome to attend, and our Streetcar team is there as well. Our next one for that is July 20th at 1:30, and those happen here at the Civic Center. You can also find that information on our website as well. We also have other ways to stay up to date. One really good way is our website. You can see at the top there where it says construction updates. That drops down into the 6 different neighborhoods that are along the corridor. Each week we do a really detailed update of all the happenings. So that's a really good way to get the in-depth, thorough information. If you would like to sign up for our text messages, that's an opportunity for us to send you our quick little updates along the way. And then, of course, we also have our weekly newsletter that comes out in email format that's kind of in the middle between the really detailed version on the website and our text. Our emails are kind of that middle ground level of information and broken down by all 6 neighborhoods. Finally, the city has launched the This Way campaign. We collaborated with business owners along the corridor to create this um, campaign. It's designed to invite, guide, and welcome people kind of downtown and to the business districts. So this way utilizes wayfinding signage, some digital messaging, social media, and the whole goal of the campaign is just to help people navigate to still be able to support their businesses and restaurants and places that they love down here along the corridor. Um, Yes, so parking validation. This is a $1 parking validation option. So businesses can sign up for this program and then validate your employees' parking if you would like to. We have 4 different locations that are participating in this. We also have one garage on 12th and Capitol that's open to the public. And Monday through Friday, kind of after business hours, it's just $1 flat fee to park in that garage, and then it's open on the weekends as well. If you would, if you are a business that would like to sign up for this to help your staff have parking options, you can simply email that parking@cityofomaha.org or call that number listed there um, to get more information. Finally, if you ever have questions or concerns or anything you'd like to talk about, you can contact me. Here's my contact information, Wendy and Noel, and any 3 of us will be able to get you answers to any of your questions. And then we'll pass it back over to Wendy for some questions.
Thank you, Alyssa. Yeah, so our first question is for Steve Rue. When will 17th Street be open? We had originally said it would be closed for 2 weeks, just south of Farnham, and it's been a little bit longer than that.
Yeah. We've rephased some of the work that's happening through there. I would hate to give an answer right off the top of my head because I don't have a solid answer to provide at this exact moment. I can
Okay.
follow up. I can follow up with an answer.
Yeah. Okay. So I have that person's contact information, so we'll follow up with you. Um, the closures on Farnham Street between 25th and 26th, it's pretty tight in there. A business is struggling to unload trucks. Do you have some suggestions for them, Steve, for helping with their business deliveries?
Where possible, if we can talk to the crews that are out on site, a lot of times we can help accommodate some of those deliveries. I don't know, I guess I'm not sure which exact business we're talking about. I know in some cases, some of the issues we have are probably going to be longer issues as there will be a streetcar there one day. And so it's going to create a different issue when you want to unload those trucks. So there's
Guys,
probably a short term, thank you. It's probably a short term solution that we can help you resolve. If you have contact information, we can work with Hawkins and Sadler to try to get that in there for now. However, a longer term solution is probably going to be needed on your end when the streetcar tracks are there, as you won't be able to obstruct them.
and then also the question is anything past 24th, semis don't really have a good way to get around. So if
Correct.
it's a full semi truck going down there, or is this a box truck? If you've got their contact, we can reach out and try to coordinate something. But just as a reminder, until we get all the bridge work finished and you can go all the way through on Farnham, it might be working with your supplier to get a different sized vehicle. I don't know if that's a possibility, but also like Steve said, we've been able to successfully work several times in the past with Hawkins and Roll Off to accommodate something so they can at least pull over.
Thank you. Our next question, Mike, can you talk about the why we are only doing one direction of track on Farnham through Midtown and Blackstone, and why we would not just close the whole street and get both sections of track done at once? Can you kind of talk
We
about
don't
the
want to cut off
philosophy?
all those. You don't want to cut off all the businesses down there and everyone else. People who live down that way, fire emergency rescue to also just business accesses. If we cut off and say, okay, hey, from Turner out to 40th, everyone who lives, works along here, you're gonna have to walk. We'll leave some sidewalks open for you. Good luck. That doesn't exactly work for a lot of the restaurants and other institutions along there. We got to give some kind of access. To completely cut it off is highly problematic. So we're doing it in phases. And yes, it's a little frustrating because you got only one lane open of traffic, but it still provides some level of access then.
And then someone sent some concerns about our Douglas Street westbound only configuration. And I'm not sure we'll be able to solve anything here, but there are people who it's a right turn only there, and people are using it as a U-turn to go to Iowa or to go southbound on 10th Street. So we just want to talk about how people need to follow signs here.
Well, we would encourage you to follow the correct signage if you're trying to hang U-turns, especially trying to scoot in front of a bunch of other traffic. That's a real good way to cause an accident. You won't get where you're trying to go anywhere on time. It is a little bit of a hassle right now if you got to take a right turn, loop around, up one block over to 11th, and then back down. But that's the safe way to do it if you need to get back onto that exit ramp.
We
Thank
put
you.
that in an attempt to accommodate most people. However, just like with any traffic signal, some people do not follow the rules. So we are doing our best so that almost everyone can safely get in and out of there without overloading one direction of travel.
I was driving home last night and some Dodge Ram went the wrong way down as I was heading up towards the interstate. Don't know why, and that's the way life goes.
So just pay attention to signage, drive
Yep.
safe. We all want to get home.
We all like
All
to
right.
get home.
Yeah. Mike, can you give an update on maybe when we'll actually see the cars in Omaha?
Vehicles are slated to arrive, we'll call it summer of 2027, contractually. And I did see a question that asked about renderings. I do think we have some renderings from the suppliers. I don't know if we have a final with all the color selections and everything else off the top of my head, but if that's, I believe all the colors have been chosen. So I think we can, I don't know if we've got something we can add to the website or whatnot, but we can look
Yeah,
into that.
Melissa, I'm not sure we're ready to talk about an event we're going to hold later this year, but
Yeah,
Okay.
there's an event in the works and that will include some of those renderings. So more information to come on those.
Okay.
yeah. Um, Mike, do you want to give an update on the sinkhole and well, the foundation issue in Blackstone and talk about how someone's asking if there's more sinkholes expected to happen?
As far as in life goes, unfortunately, that is just something that will be part of having infrastructure in the roadway. As far as the incident in Blackstone, we have put up some temporary measures to try and divert water away from that foundation. And we've been in communication with them and as long as with the permit and inspections group. And from the streetcar project perspective, we're doing our best to continue along and work through our own problems and just try to coordinate with them as they proceed along. I don't know if I haven't heard anything on any direction from the owner or anyone else. So that's what I know for now.
Alyssa, do you want to cover this last question we've gotten about the parking garages in Midtown and why they're not part of the parking program?
Yes, I can. So I know from the public use perception, we already have 2 hours of free parking at those garages, so we wouldn't want to add a $1 parking for them. As far as employers are doing the employer validation, I am not sure, but I will talk to Park Omaha and follow up with you on that one.
Perfect. Well, thank you everyone for the questions, and we will follow up with a couple of people here that we were not able to cover. So thank you.
Thank you everyone for sticking with us as we're getting through this really major overhaul and a brand new transit system that we're bringing in to the city of Omaha. And we we look forward to delivering on that and continuing to help Omaha grow.
Thank you, everyone.